This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview. Onto the Research Talks here, the podcast with Alan Green on Stockbox. How are you doing, Alan? I know you've had a fairly busy week from Stockbox. It's been a little bit quieter, though. I think we're certainly seeing the move into the August lulls, but you've had quite a busy one.
Yeah, I think it was, as often happens in this business market, you get stuff dropped on you, not last minute, but we had some stuff coming yesterday, and also it was also late on Wednesday as well, so it has picked up a bit. But yeah, it's very much stop start at the moment, and going to August, we do expect things to quieten down a bit more. But there's certainly plenty of activity in a lot of the stocks that we cover, and of course, we've seen some good progress this week in the markets, albeit there was a bit of a pullback yesterday. But I think the markets are now in a much better place than they were a year ago. And looking forward to what the autumn may bring, and who knows, the possibility of a centre rally.
Well, maybe, indeed, yeah, indeed. And I think the pullback yesterday was probably generally needed anyway. Pullbacks are healthy. Yeah. You don't want everything. It gets scary when you just see a vertical line on a chart. And I already see this morning the S&P has sort of done a double bottom. Not saying it's a bottom there. I'm certainly not an expert when it comes to the big indices or trading. I do try, but I think a pullback was fairly healthy, and it seems at the minute anyway to be. Double bottoming and heading back up. So we'll have to see how it goes. But as I say, a pullback is healthy when things are all going crazy, particularly, of course, in the AI space as well. I saw headlines from BBC yesterday that a lot of the pullback was on the AI stuff. And I think Tesla missed some earnings yesterday. I think got more earnings coming up. Maybe there's a little bit of fear of that vertical line on the NVIDIA chart, for example. But in terms of the actual space in general, if you take out the big ones, the Microsofts, the Nvidias, there's not much to invest in on AI. I know we're going to be talking about one of the AI companies that is going to be heading to the market later on this year, because I still think there's a good opportunity in that space. But before we get into that, we're going to cover a couple of miners. The first one is Guardian Metal Resources, and then we're going to talk about Voyager, who Nick has been on site recently doing a bit of a well test. But first of all, Guardian Metal Resources, big moment for them next week as well. I know they're already trading on the OTC, but they're having the sort of official ringing of the bell ceremony to sort of mark that milestone.
It's a huge moment for them, and really, it's also ringing that bell will really signal just how far the company has come since the IPO. And let's not forget, this company was spun out of Power Metal Resources, of course, now run very ably by Chief Executive Sean Wade, and of course Oliver Friesen, who came in, was working with Paul Johnson, who was then CEO at the time, to get what was then Gold Metal Resources ready for market. Has done an absolutely superb job as chief executive, taking the company forward and developing the projects. But I think, given the focus on the USA, given the US's protection stance on moving away from China's supply in terms of critical minerals, looking and sourcing minerals like tungsten and other critical minerals from domestic sources, this is a huge step forward, and I think US investors will really buy into that. And of course, the opportunity then, once the OTC listing is underway, the opportunity is going to be huge for US investors. But of course, the arbitrage will feed over into Guardian's UK listing, which has already performed spectacularly well this year. Of course, we've seen a year low of 7p. And the shares have just literally gone skyward since then, currently trading at 31p, gives the company a market capitalization of 34 million. So it's still very much a micro cap. But what the company has in its arsenal of assets is anything but. I mean, we've got a genuine blue chip mining company on our hands here. And the way the company's been managed to date is excellent. So a quick summary of the key assets. Of course, we have the company's flagship asset is the Pilot Mountain asset, which has an existing mineral resource estimate of 12.5 million tons of tungsten. It's the largest undeveloped tungsten resource in the USA, and Oliver and the team have done an excellent job in developing that. And I'll just touch on the latest developments very shortly. But throughout Guardian's history, Oliver hasn't balked from bringing in advisors and additional board members to support and help to drive the growth. And of course, last year, Mrs. Chango Tokmani was appointed as an advisor to Guardian Metal, a strategic advisor to the US government. She's working with Oliver and the board to shape Guardian Metal strategy to secure non-dilutive funding further down the road for Pilot Mountain. So in addition to Pilot Mountain, of course, we have the Golconda, the Golconda gold assets. And the great thing is, with all of Guardian's assets, they're all they're all a relatively short distance from each other, based, of course, in Nevada. There are so many other mines and projects operating in Nevada. Nevada is a very mining friendly state, and of course there are many key operating mines there operating at the moment. There's also the Garfield project. This is also a gold and copper project, and the Stonewall project, and of course the Kibbe Basin lithium project within the group too. But the focus, quite rightly, has been very much on the developments at Pilot Mountain. Garfield, of course, featured back in May. The actual stake area has been increased by 44 mineral claims, but in June, the company launched its largest ever geophysics campaign across multiple tungsten and copper targets and seeking magnetic bullseye. And the strategy of the company has been throughout measure twice, cut once. So prior to any sort of work on any assets, the company takes great pains to ensure that its data is robust and ensure that the data it has is verified and double checked. And then, of course, the drill goes in, and the result is usually sort of delivered by the truth machine. In June, the company announced it discovered extensive mineralization in Hole 1 at the Desert Scheelite asset. Mineralization from 12.2 meters down to 42.8 meters, and then from 68 meters to 151 meters. And that is those two huge mineralized sections there. I mean, that really is a huge amount. Hole 2, however, at the Porphyry South project was even better. Mineralized porphyry system was identified from 22 meters all the way down to 407 meters, which Oliver described as a remarkable result. When you've got that depth of mineralization, that's just huge. That really is. Then, of course, the company announced the upgrade to the OTC QB from OTC QX, and of course, next week, as we said, Mark, we have the company ringing the bell. This is going to deliver better corporate governance and compliance, and will give the company great visibility with US investors. Not that they need it, of course, because they understand the critical minerals directive. And indeed, on July the 11th, a week or so ago, the US Senate Committee published a report regarding the National Defense Authorization Act for 2025. And Oliver said that on the back of that, the Guardian Metal Pilot Mountain scheme can play a significant role in the tungsten supply chain for the USA's defense industry. So that's a hugely significant step once again. I talked about strengthening the board. A few days ago, the company appointed two further people, a gentleman by the name of Michael Jones, a strategic advisor to the company, R. Michael Jones, formerly chief executive of Platinum Group Metals, and also Los Andes Copper Limited down in the Andes. R. Michael Jones was also previously an advisor to the British Columbian Minister of Finance and has worked extensively in an advisory capacity with other companies. Also appointed was Jeff Snyder as operations manager. Jeff is an industry veteran with some 40 years experience as a mining engineer. He's actually based in Nevada, having worked previously for Centerra Mining, Mercure Mining, and of course Newmont, the mining giant there. But the great thing with Pilot Mountain is that it has revealed another dimension. In addition to the copper discoveries and also, of course, primarily tungsten, they discovered industrial garnet, which has a multitude of applications in blasting and other industries. On July 9th, the company announced that the results from garnet sampling. They've produced a 300 kilogram composite sample, which has now been shipped to a nearby laboratory for metallurgical testing. The results from this will also be included in the PFS for Pilot Mountain. So another very significant step forward and another dimension to the value in the company. But I think I think the progress that Oliver and his team have delivered to date, and also, of course, the fact that the OTC listing commences next week, I think we're going to see a very strong second half of the year from this company. And still, even at 31 pence trading now, the company's still got a market capitalization of just 34 million. If it becomes a critical part of the supply chain for the US defense industry in regard to tungsten, I think this company is going to multi-bag from this point.
Absolutely, Alan. And I think mentioning about things with the Department of Defense, I think, that sounds very grand, but I don't think it's too far-fetched either, is it really? I mean, when you look at where they are, and I think Oliver did a special feature with Stopbox a few weeks ago and was showing us on the map where everything is. And the project Pilot Mountain is near one of the biggest sort of munitions dumps in the United States. They're sort of right there where the munitions manufacturing. So I think talking about and as you said, the lady they've got on board there, I think I would not be surprised at all to see some kind of agreement or something done with the US Department of Defense, and that will be a huge catalyst moment for that project. And given the OTC listing as well, getting the North American investors exposure, access to, again, good homegrown American mining projects will only help drive the story, drive the excitement and the volume, the trading volumes. And I'm heading out there next week with Oliver to sort of cover the ringing of the bell at the OTC market. So would encourage anyone who has any questions for Oliver, do let us know. Do let Stopbox know, and we'll make sure they're asked. But I'm very much looking forward to that. I think that's that dual listing is what a lot of companies are doing these days. I think particularly miners, just to get a bit more interest in the stock from North America, where I think the appetite is a bit different from investors in London, a bit more of a longer mindset maybe, but they've done very well, haven't they? I mean, that share price has done incredibly well, and it's sitting at around 30 million. And they're still exploring, and they're going to be keeping us entertained, I'm sure, over the course of the summer as that program continues.
Very much so, but I think also it's also the political backdrop in the US as well. We were talking before we came on air about Trump and, of course, Kamala Harris now running as the Democrat nominee for president, which I think is a great move. But what it does mean is that whoever gets elected, we're going to have a capable person at the helm, and with very clear with a very clear mandate to take the US defense policy forward. And US investors, I think, will very much buy into that, and they'll see this as a great opportunity. And of course, what it means for us here in the UK is that arbitrage process will add further weight to the share price, once the OTC, once the share price on the US listing starts to rise. So yeah, it's a really exciting and pivotal moment for the company. But everything is in place. All of the advisors are now in place to take the company to the next level, to expand the company. And at 34 million, compared to its peers, it's still a tiny company in terms of market capitalization. And one final thing I'd say as well is Power Metal Resources still hold 62% of this company. So, just consider that for a second. So you could argue that actually Guardian Metal right now is great play. But if you want exposure to Guardian Metal, you could buy Power Metal Resources, which has exposure to that raft of other projects as well. But we're not talking about Power Metal today. We're talking about Guardian. So.
No, indeed. But of course, you're right. Power Metal holding a significant percentage of Guardian there at some point. It might be cheaper to get exposure to Guardian through Power. Who knows? But you're right. And of course, we wait to see what Sean does with the other projects over at Power. But as you say, we're not here to talk about Power, and we should probably move on and talk about Voyager Life with Nick Tulloch, of course, out in the field at the moment doing well tests.
Again, I think Nick and the team they have to be congratulated for creating this opportunity. I think for Voyager shareholders, because what has happened is M3 Helium, which is of course the owner of the Hugoton North assets. That's a 220 well capacity, and of course Fort Dodge, which is a 3-well prospect, but in all of these cases, the testing of those wells commercially, if you can generate 0.3% helium from your well, that's considered to be an economic level. The readings that the samples have returned, but Hosco Well Testing undertook testing in the wells, helium compositions between 4.83 and 4.82% in 2 tests. So that's well ahead of what you consider to be the economic average, and certainly other testing and other conversations that I've had with Nick since those numbers were released also bear that out too. And of course, as you say, Nick is currently out there on site. Mark is actually at the wells. I was in touch with him yesterday. But in terms of the deal, and of course, this deal was ratified at the GM for Voyager last week. Of course, Voyager previously a CBD and cannabis or CBD product company. The company has a cash pile, and of course, it loaned some of that cash pile to M3 in order that it could speed up and advance the drilling, which of course is underway now. And through the process, the CBD operations will be sold off. There's no raging pressure to sell them off because they are cash generative, but they will be sold off at a suitable time for the company. So I've no doubt we'll hear an announcement in that regard shortly. But considering where Voyager CBD was and where M3 Helium is, I think the deal to bring M3 shareholders into the listed vehicle, that is Voyager, representing just 57% of the enlarged vehicle, is a great deal for Voyager shareholders. And as we've already seen, certainly since that deal was announced, the share price has jumped from what was then 3.2p up as high as 5.5p, currently trading at 4.75p. But I'm sure as further results are released and further data is released from the wells, we're going to hear an awful lot more about it. What we do know is that there is an awful lot of interest again from investors in helium. We've of course discussed the other week Helix Exploration, the success they've had. There is a shortage of helium. That's an indisputable fact, and we're now seeing that there is an increased level of interest from investors and institutions in helium opportunities. M3 coming into Voyager gives it that listed vehicle, and we're seeing. I took a call yesterday because, of course, we are the PR for the company. We took a call yesterday from a US investor interested in buying shares in the company on the Aquis. So that's a really, really positive sign. I'm sure we're going to hear an awful lot more about that going forward. But as the company stands at the moment, it has a market capitalization of just 2 million. So you compare that to Helix or other companies operating in the sector. That's a very small amount indeed. And we're going to see in the coming days more news coming from these wells in Kansas. So that's both from the Hugot and North Blade drilling, but also the results from Fort Dodge 2. And of course, what M3 have is access to the Jayhawk helium plant that's owned by Scout Energy, and Scout Energy will process that helium for a modest commission. So M3 can sell that directly into the marketplace. So the deal has been ratified. Everything was agreed at the GM last week, and the company has an opportunity going forward to scale up the projects to many hundreds of new drilling sites in the area. The area is well known and has been known for many years as a source of helium. And Nick is going to take the company forward. The company's, of course, raised 864,000 in the fundraise through the new share issue at 3p. So trading well ahead of that currently. But I think this is just the start, and the next few weeks and months are going to see, I believe, that we're going to see a sea change delivered in the valuation of the company.
It really is just a start, isn't it, Alan, really? And they've really moved on quite rapidly from the shift from the medicinal cannabis there into helium. There's already a lot of action going on. Of course, there was the drilling at the Fort Dodge well just a week or two ago there. Nick is on site at the moment, as you mentioned. I interviewed him on Friday. So that interview's out on Stopbox, where they were doing a well test of another well. This is about an hour or so away from that Fort Dodge well. It's the Smith well, it's called. ExxonMobil used to be the operator here. They left it, and the suspicion is amongst the team at Voyager that perhaps Exxon prematurely dismissed it. And they're doing a bit of testing to see actually that there's perhaps more life in it than Exxon did indeed originally think. So yeah, Nick was there. They did a flare test. They had 300 pounds of pressure. They flared off some methane. Big flame came out there. You can see on the interview there, and yet to be sort of officially decided or determined, let's say. But there's potentially 70% gas still down there from the original well tests there. So yeah, the plan really is to tie that well into the other wells in the area, get it into the pipeline, and get it to market. That's what Nick said, get the gas to market and generate revenue. So as I say, they're not messing around, and I'm sure once that does start, once those flows start, we'll see some more tangible bits of information on that and some idea of potential revenues coming through. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing how it goes.
Well, certainly some of the images that are coming back does show we're seeing sort of well flame outs and all the rest of it, and you can hear the gas hissing away, and there are some real action shots from the project. But I sense that we're going to see a lot more next week from Nick and the team on the ground there in Kansas, and it's going to be a case to watch this space. But a very exciting time, and the potential, the North Play alone extends to 250 sections with recoverable gas, and each of those sections is 1 square mile. So you consider the scalability of that, and there are several wells operating at the moment, but the opportunity to scale this up multiple times is there for the taking.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Alan. Let's finish off with Priority AI. Another AI company coming onto the market soon, I think.
It's coming onto the market by the end of the year. So I've taken a close look at this. Of course, AI is the buzzword at the moment, and it's integrating into everything we do, every aspect of life, to make things more efficient, to improve workflow, improve efficiency, and make things easier to execute. So on repetitive tasks in particular, that's where AI comes into its own. So Dan G, the chief executive, and his co-founder John were planning to list Priority AI on the Equus exchange, but a company called Alteration Earth has basically been trading as a cash shell for some time, and on the 27th of June, announced that it would be reversing into or Priority AI would be reversing into the listed entity. Added to that, the company is going to transfer from the main market to the AIM market, which is considered a more progressive market for technology companies. The transaction value is going to be worth about approximately 12.5 million. That's the estimate at the moment. 10 million will be going to Priority AI shareholders. That is to say, early founder shareholders in the company. That of course includes Dan G, who's a major shareholder and his co-founder. And 2.5 million will be made available to residual Alteration Earth shareholders. So a minority shareholding. So again, you look at that comparison to the comparison for Voyager Life shareholders. 57% of the M3 Helium asset, or 57% of the M3 Helium shareholders, have owned the enlarged listed vehicle. So that's where Nick Tulloch, I think, oversaw a great deal, both for M3 Helium, but in particular for Voyager shareholders. Anyway, back to Priority AI. I digress. So Priority AI have a product which where AI-driven data is powered by software an SaaS solution, software as a service solution, and this is designed as a B2B offering to help businesses at various stages of their journey to again create that efficiency through technology. So those repetitive processes, they bring efficiency and speed to the process. It's based around the deep learning data architecture and AI models, and the company planned to sell this on a subscription basis. But as opposed to having to sign up for a year or longer, the company takes the view that the nature of business, it means that business owners have to pivot. What's hot one month could be switched off by the end of the following month, and that is, as we know, the way business is. So the plan is to charge that out at about £500 a month on a 30-day rolling contract. So if you try it and it doesn't work for you, or if your priorities change at the end of that month, then you can dip out of the contract, but you can also dip back in again 2 months down the road if you wish. So the company is building this digital agent to automate business processes, and that business agent, or the digital agent, is called Priority Advisor, which is an AI-powered advisory bot that uses deep learning, and it can engage with customers, stakeholders, investors via the website, via Messenger, or of course via email. Now, of course, with AI, everything that's collected, all the data that's collected, goes into the learning pot, and it builds the language model. It builds the community, what the company calls community interest maps, and of course that in turn, further down the road, powers detailed content creation based on that learning, and of course support services too. The focus, or the business focus of the company, is going to be in 4 different product lines, namely governance. So that's corporate governance, of course, financing, brand management, and marketing. And of course, the AI bot that powers this won't be a generic model. It will be a bot that's built specifically for each customer, hence the monthly charge. So if you take it on, that model can be built, the company believes, within 5 or 10 minutes, and then it can be put to work straight away. So that's why there is the business model is based on a charge per model basis. And indeed, Dan G and the board refer to it as an AI toolbox for SMEs, likened to So it's likened to going to see the doctor for a diagnosis on a condition. So that the doctor will come in, give you a diagnosis, and prescribe a solution or for that condition. But already the platform has taken getting on for 2 years to build. The company is seeing a huge amount of interest, had lots of inquiries. The company believes it has up to 650 customers interested in taking up the service, and that will commence once the company has completed the listing, once the funds are raised, and the company comes to market. To break even, to run the existing machine as it is, to run the existing machine and cover costs, the company requires just 50 customers. So you can see with that interest, having 650 customers championing at the bit is going to lead potentially to significant profitability. And what that'll of course enable the company to do by coming to market is increase the team size, drive the business harder, and build on that. So really exciting opportunity, and I think we've seen several versions of the AI formula come to market, but Priority AI for Business, I think, is where that's where the hot money is. And once this company comes to market by the end of the year, I'm sure we'll see both existing shareholders in Priority AI, the founder shareholders, and also those residual shareholders from Alteration Earth see some decent gains once the listing takes place.
Yes, indeed, and I've encouraged people to watch the interview I did with Dan G earlier in the week. He explains very well. I mean, as we said at the start, there's a lot of AI opportunities, but not so many opportunities to invest in. But it's at that point, I think, where it's still finding its feet, and I think there are, there's probably going to be a lot of opportunities, let's say in inverted commas, where people are almost jumping on the bandwagon. Yes, AI, and we've got this idea that might help here, but it's a little bit hard to understand exactly what it is that the solution is. And I think that goes for everything, doesn't it? When the internet came out, or email, it's like, okay, what? It's difficult to kind of explain or actually see what the opportunity is, even though it's so vast. But Dan did a very good job of explaining the opportunity and the product that they are deploying with customers who are already active there. And it's actually a real, it was the first time I'd sort of seen an AI opportunity where I thought, actually, I can really get this. I can really understand the tangibility here. Yeah. And I think, it's all speed ahead, really heading towards that RTO point. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how Dan and the team build on this. He basically said that the RTO it's kind of all in hand. It's kind of carrying on, and his focus is going to be building the business, really, which is where it should be.
Exactly. But I agree, Mark. I think there have been many iterations, and it's been kind of hard to understand. It's such a nebulous subject. It's been hard to understand where the key focus is and how AI is going to evolve. But the way Dan explains it, I've seen the interview, and he really articulates the process well. And it's actually a common sense solution, and I think that's the good thing about it. And also the fact that you can subscribe. So you've got a problem you want to solve, you can subscribe for a month. If it works, great, you're going to carry on with it. If it doesn't work, or you want to try something different, then you can dip out after a month. And that, I think, is going to be key to success, because every business is going to want to try it, and it may not be suitable for businesses. It may be the existing systems that the company has may work better, but certainly in terms of understanding and practical application of AI in a way that, or in a method that investors can look and say, yeah, I can see how that works, and I can see where the opportunities for gain will come. That's where I think Priority AI is actually a step ahead of the others. So yeah, good luck to Dan and the team.
Well, thank you very much as always, Alan, for your time, and we'll speak again next week.
Thanks, Mark. Yeah, we'll speak next week. All the best. Have a good weekend.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like, or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter, and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stopboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.